All right, everybody, here we are in episode 4 of the Abundance2 Give podcast with Maricruz. And then we got the guest today, Masud, in the house. Hey, Masud, what's up, man?
What's up, Justin?
Uh-oh, we got some cheering.
Hi, welcome.
Yeah.
There we go.
See, you like that?
Yeah.
So appreciate you coming on, man.
Happy to be here, man. Thanks for having me.
And, part of this whole podcast, and Maricruz is so adamant on this, is, using giving as a method for abundance, right? And by helping and giving back to people, society, and leaving a positive impact on the world. By doing that, abundance just naturally comes versus the method of take.
Right.
And then you find out you're having to work twice as hard because all you're doing is taking from the world and accumulating without actually giving back and helping others. And that's the whole purpose of the Abundance2 Give podcast, and why we do it is to interview super successful people like yourself, but seeing how giving and helping others and leaving a positive impact on the world has kind of brought abundance to your life. And so take it away, Maricruz.
Yeah, I'm super excited to actually have you on today because like I do with everybody, I always stalk and see, who I'm going to be talking to, how I could pull little things out here and there. But you were born in Afghanistan.
That is correct.
So I want to start there because it's just always so interesting to hear the stories, because obviously you still have some memories of being in Afghanistan and now you're here. And obviously how it is to live over there. I mean, you were 5, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
5 when we left Afghanistan.
Yeah. And I think it's so interesting to hear that point of view, because I think that, people who are born and raised here have the idea, the American dream, it's very easy, but it's just, I'd like to hear your perspective on, how you grew up and how it is now here.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I think, Justin, what you said about the whole concept of giving, the more you give, the more fulfillment, the more I see in my life. And I can completely agree with that. So this podcast focused on that. I think it's 100% accurate. So thank you for having me on. To talk about Afghanistan, 5 years old, I don't remember much of it, but what I do remember is the courage that my parents had, my father, my mother, to just leave everything and to know that Afghanistan is not the country that it's going to be any longer, because a lot of people don't remember, but Afghanistan was a very liberal country. It was a place where people could do things like in America, but once the war happened with Russia, that's where things kind of went sideways.
And that was in the 70s, right?
That was in the late 70s, early 80s.
Okay.
So once that started happening, or was going to happen, my parents said, we got to leave. So they left everything.
What were your parents doing in Afghanistan as far as work goes?
My father, he worked in the government and super successful. His family came from a good upbringing, and they had a good life and wealth there. But he left everything. He left everything and just decided to start over. So we just got on pretty much donkeys and late at night
Wow.
Really?
escaped.
Wow.
And you hear that so often, not often, but when you hear the stories of call it refugees or immigrants leaving a tough environment, you hear it, we were doing so well. We were a doctor, we were an engineer, we were this, we were that in this other country, and we had a pretty decent life and opportunities and stuff. And then this happened. And then that triggered this. And then because of that, we were literally willing to leave all the awesome things, give that up. I mean, imagine that for a minute. Imagine the United States, something happens here, and you have all these wealthy people say, I'm going to leave it all to go to Tahiti or something, right? I need to get out. I mean, Imagine that you're leaving all of that opportunity to go and literally start from scratch.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it takes an enormous amount of courage for your parents. And I look at that as a form of giving, right? Because they were willing to give up give to you guys as children, to leave that environment, to come over and try and achieve abundance in the United States, right?
Mm-hmm.
And to add to that, not only being a leader, but also an entrepreneur. They're giving up everything that they knew and moving to somewhere else. And basically we escaped from Afghanistan to go to Pakistan as refugees. We got smuggled there, finally found a place to live in Pakistan for about a year until my aunt sponsored us to come to the States. But I feel like it's a level of entrepreneurship. My parents, courageous leaders, giving up everything to have a better life for us, living in Pakistan. And all I remember in Afghanistan and Pakistan was just hanging out, playing around as a little kid and having a great time. And then finally we had the opportunity to come to the United States, and from my aunt lived in Nebraska, so from all places we moved to Nebraska. Not California, but Nebraska. Omaha, Nebraska.
What took her to Nebraska?
I think it was her husband. He was going to school or education, and somehow they landed there. And they had other friends that were in Omaha as well.
That's where they were they settling refugees in Nebraska at that time, or
no?
That's why I asked.
Yeah, no, my aunt and everyone, they weren't refugees. They had their student visas and work visas to come to the States.
Yep.
But we came to Omaha because she lived there and we were sponsored by her.
Gotcha.
But Nebraska was Omaha.
So, I mean, we can get into even that, but what I'd like to find out too, and we can touch on some current events because of what's happened recently, maybe last year, you watching that in Afghanistan, all that go down. I know it's important to you, and you've even talked about setting up a refugee or was it for children? Like you want an orphanage for children within that. It's like a dream of yours, right? I mean, talk about that, and because that's kind of where the giving side comes in. And then from that, I'd like to know from your opinion how giving, up to this point in your life has brought abundance to you.
Okay. Yeah, for me, when this whole thing that happened in Afghanistan last year, it was just surreal. It was something that hit home to me because we had to go through that at the time, and seeing that happening again in Afghanistan was just devastating. So I was doing whatever I could do and work with Afghan refugees coming into San Diego and helping out through the mosque, through other international rescue committee organizations, which we've had come in and peers and speak to us, and just to be able to find ways to help refugees settle. Because I remember at the time when we were here at the United States, and once we moved to San Diego on our own, that it was very difficult for my parents to settle, and we had to figure things out, and it was a difficult time. No one really kind of showed us the way to do it except for my aunt.
Did they speak English?
The people did. My parents?
Your parents?
No, they did not.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so the way they
That
learned
really hit
English,
you.
it did. Yeah, the way they learned English was through just reading like yellow pages. They taught me how to read English through yellow pages.
So let me get this straight. Your family learned English by reading the yellow pages.
The yellow pages.
I love it.
Why did they tell you
Amazing.
why out of all books the yellow pages?
Well, they saw a lot of names on there, a lot of advertisement. So my mom would spend hours with me just reading through the yellow pages to help me learn English. So
Oh my
thank you to the
gosh,
yellow
I
pages.
love
That's
that.
incredible. Cheers to the yellow pages.
Cheers to the yellow pages.
So then on you watching that go down last year, we all did. And what's the situation there now, based on what you know?
So we still have some family over there. We speak to them at times just to kind of get a pulse of what's going on. It seems it's calm, but like for women, it's just that's changed. They don't have that independence, the rights that they did.
So it's what we anticipated, right?
Which we anticipated, exactly. There's a lot of people that are hungry, displaced from their homes, and it's just food is very difficult there. So what we've done as our family is find ways to send money to Afghanistan. For a while, there wasn't a way to send it, but finally they're accepting money. So we send money, and then they'll go out and displace people that are homeless, give them money, give them food, and just help people that directly, because I know where the money's going, that they will be helped.
Yeah, that's important.
And so where did the dream, I guess, for having an orphanage one day in Afghanistan start?
Well, for me, the most important is kids. I have 2 young kids, and I see kids without parents. It's so hard. And kids should have, to be able to have a better future, to be able to have a better life, they need some type of structure, they need love, and they need, and if their parents can't give it to them, getting them off the streets, to be in an orphanage, to give them that structure, to give them that love, to help them be able to grow in a loving environment is so important to me. So one day, that is a dream and goal of mine. Is like, I give back a lot here in the States in San Diego, and that's really important to me, but I also want to give back and do something that's going to move people forward in Afghanistan. And it starts with our youth. So if you're able to do something for the young and help them structure their life in a situation where they'll be able to do well, and that may be an impact where they'll start changing society. So that's the dream, and one day I know will happen.
Yeah, that's amazing. Okay, I want to go even just a little bit deeper. So I know that you have kids.
Yes.
And so naturally you're going to want to help kids. But I think that, do you think that maybe because you were, you came from Afghanistan and you were here and you kind of had a little bit of struggle being here and help and everything, do you think a part of your dream of helping kids comes from like maybe a little bit of your struggles, like being here in the US a little bit?
Yeah, I think that's part of it. It's also, just growing up, being new to
like, how was it in school? Were you kind of like the oddball kid or anything like that?
Yeah, actually, you're bringing back a lot of memories.
We're gonna talk about hookah lounges here.
Yeah, seriously.
Talk about some hookah here pretty soon.
Yeah, at first when I started off, like obviously being in elementary school, you don't know what's going on. And when I didn't know how to speak English, the most embarrassing thing that ever happened was I didn't know that you needed to raise your hand to be able to be called on, or also to be able to leave the classroom. So I thought once you come in to class, you have to stay there and you can't leave. So I didn't know what to do. So I drank a lot of water. So unfortunately, when I think it was a 4th grader at the time, I peed my pants.
Oh, little Masud.
So yeah,
this just went viral.
So that was 3rd grade. Let's take it back a grade. Yeah, it was probably 3rd or 2nd grade, which I didn't really know English. So at first it was hard. Yeah, I'm not going to lie. It was hard just to be able to come in, not knowing the language, and just trying to fit in. And when I go home, my culture is different. And then at school, it's totally different. So it's just getting used to it. But after elementary school, I kind of started figuring out how things work and how school works, and started building more relationships and getting to know people. So it got easier as the time went by. And I found out, like, just modeling other kids. So other kids are doing certain things that that they have friends and what they're doing. Once I figured that out, it got easier. But in the beginning, it was not easy.
Yeah.
Well, you touched on it earlier where you said, kids need structure and they need, mentorship, right? And I always said the things, you can't control your starting point in life, right? But it is your responsibility to try and control how that ends up. But sometimes if you can't see through the fog because you've had a really bad starting point in life, it's really hard to see through that. And having a good mentor and having some education, those 2 components will help any child, right? Regardless of their starting point in life, hopefully have their 0 to hero journey. But without that, you're right. It's really hard for any child who doesn't know what they don't know to be able to see through that fog and know that, oh, maybe if I do this, I can do this. If I go get that education, I can do this. If I go that way, I have this opportunity, because you don't know what you don't know. And unless somebody's willing to kind of show you a little bit, a mentor, right? Whether that's a family member, mom, dad, or maybe a football coach or basketball coach or some form around you that can kind of give you that guidance in addition to the education, it's going to be really hard for anybody. So that's why when you touch on that, I say it's all about education and mentorship, because if you have those two components, any child, hopefully with that in mind, can see through the fog and go have their 0 to hero journey.
Yeah.
So.
And I think the third component is love.
Yeah.
Like in our family, there was so much love inside. Even though we were poor, we grew up on welfare, food stamps. My parents gave up everything, but we were so rich with love that we lived a very happy, fulfilled life. That stuff wasn't important. So mentorship, structure, love, education. I think if you have that all combined, it puts you in a place to move forward,
right,
and make an impact.
Yeah.
So with that in mind, how have you helped San Diego? I know she wanted to ask this question too, but how has giving, right, helped do that? Because you do that here in San Diego.
Well, yeah, I think it's our duty. Also, I received a lot when I was growing up. So us, again, the government helped us, the churches helped us to be able to move forward. And that's all important. And I saw the love and giving that we were receiving at the time I was a young kid. So that made it very important and a nice part of our life as I was moving forward and growing up, that once I have the opportunity to give, I was going to do that. Part of the giving is obviously spending your time and volunteering. And I have done that when I was in high school and college. So working at and volunteering my time with a day camp. So every summer, as far as giving back, I'm going to take it back a little bit.
Yeah.
When I was in high school, I was just working at a day camp during the summer, volunteering some of my time too, and just hanging out with kids and being around with them to be a positive impact. And then moving on to college, giving my time to volunteering as far as in the hospital, helping people that needed support, volunteering my time at the mosque and churches. So fast forward, that was just part of my DNA. And I think it's always helped me every time I've done more or gave more, and helping my family, my grandparents, whatever it may be, it always comes back to you. And I don't do it for that. It's just part of who I am.
Right.
And at this point in time, and I got to a part of my career that I said, for my business, if we're going to start a business, it's going to be a for-purpose driven business, that we're going to give back to the local community. We're successful from our partners, our customers, clients, our team members, and then it's our duty to give it back to the local community. So part of that's done through our company, Foundation Escrow. Another aspect of it is through our family. We have an endowment as well too. And I can speak to that a bit as well too, because that's really our focus, is our family's endowment and what we've done with Rady Children's Hospital. And then the third aspect is the Peers organization, which you and I are part of, Justin, to make a bigger impact with more entrepreneurs, executives coming together to make a bigger collective impact on a larger scale, where we put on galas, find a beneficiary, and write 100,000 plus checks. So
we're trying to recruit her.
Yeah, I think Maricruz is probably a new member.
There you go. No, and we should plug that for a second, because the Peers Network is a huge part of San Diego. Like you said, a handful of philanthropic individuals that are going out, making an impact on the community, helping certain charities, nonprofits, and so forth, meet their goals and expand and help educate them too, because we put them through the Harvard Business School. One of their executives was part of the program. So for me, it's been amazing to see that and be a part of the organization. And, you know, I had to get accepted in, right? That takes time. And then once I was accepted in,
Then we put you to work.
Put me to work, baby. But it's incredible to see, number one, how fulfilling it is.
Mhm.
It's just so fulfilling because you go out in there and we work our butts off in the professional jobs every day. But, you know, that only gets us so far, right? That gets us to hopefully some freedom of time, and then we can spend it with friends, family, other people, but then also giving back and helping leave an impact on the world. So hopefully there's a legacy down the road that people can look at and say, yeah, you know, that person really helped out. That person made an impact, right? Masud did it. Like, wow, look at that. You know, what did he do? Look at Maricruz, and they've done such amazing things. Like, we're going to remember them for that, right? I think that's what we all seek, hopefully, is on the deathbed when we're 80, and we go, people can say, gosh, they did such an amazing job for their family, for their friends, for their community, and leaving an impact on the world. Like,
Yeah.
right?
And it's super impactful. I mean, just that one meeting that I came to, I was like hugging everybody like I knew you for years, but it's because you just feel the love and the care and like the passion that all of you guys really have. I mean, you guys are not getting paid to do this. You guys literally sit down and like plan these amazing things. And I love anybody that is doing anything like that. It's just so, like, it makes me want to be better, makes me want to like talk about it more, makes me want to join more things and just have an impact.
And the big gala, right? We should probably pitch that for a second, since this is going to be on the air at some point. But it was a Hacky Shack, Caddy. What is it?
I think we finalized the Hacky Shack.
Hacky Shack. So it's the Boys to Men program here in San Diego that helps young men kind of in that middle school age range with mentorship and education, right? Where they're in that spot where sometimes they're left alone. They're not given guidance. They can fall through the cracks. You know, a lot of children at the young age get a lot of attention and money through the government and systems and programs. A lot of children, even at the high school range to go to college, get that attention and money and stuff. But there's this gap where Boys to Men comes in and helps these younger men kind of give them mentorship and guidance, education to kind of hopefully have that zero to hero journey for themselves. And so that connected with peers, and that's why we're going full throttle with the gala. I think it's August 2nd, or no?
I think it's, it is in August. I believe it's
we'll get the dates.
We'll get the dates to you all.
But
there's a gala the night before.
Yeah.
And then a golf event the day after.
Yeah, it's
so,
Hacky Shack.
Nice.
Or Hack Shack? I don't know. I'm probably screwing it up. But
Hacky Shack, it sounds like you're trying to say
Hack
Hacky
Shack.
Shack, but Hacky Shack.
Hacky Shack. Well, it's based
not
off
like
it's based
Hacky
behind the
Shack.
movie, right? The concept of the movie that was out, so that's
Okay.
why it's there. So.
Okay.
Yeah, and if I can speak to our family foundation, and it's really interesting that you guys wanted me on at this specific time, because May is a really special month for my family and I. May 14th, we had a premature baby. His name was Ollie Sarwary, and it's going to be 4 years that he's no longer with us, and he's in heaven. And our family has made a commitment to Rady Children's Hospital to continue to help give back to that organization through peers, through other friends, family, and organizations. We've been able to raise over $250,000 in the past 4 years.
Wow.
Our goal is to get to $1 million by 2030. And continue to give back to Rady Children's Hospital, the NICU, and help those babies and families that are going through one of the difficult times of your life when you have a baby in the NICU. We saw it firsthand. We saw the impact that the nurses make, and they're angels, like seriously, like earth angels that help these little babies that are so small, like less than a foot, 1 to 2 feet, and very small, that weigh really don't weigh much, and they're helping these babies, and they're helping families that are really devastated during this time, that don't know what to do. Like, we were at a loss. Luckily,
that was a crazy story watching that. It's like bringing back memories 4 years ago, man. Like, because all the photos and stuff that you were posting, but I always say, like, in moments of suffering, greatness is born.
exactly.
Right? And through that suffering that you and your family went through, to watch the greatness that's come from it and the impact you've had on Rady's, the kids, the NICU, the babies, the families, Because I think part of the money you're raising, doesn't it go to putting cameras inside? Is that, you still doing that, or is it different now?
Well, actually, we've done a few different things. First part was getting to honor our son, to have a NICU room named after him. So there's a NICU room after Oliver Sarwary. We got cameras for the NICU beds. The goal was to get to 50 cameras.
Explain why that's important, though.
Because that's very important, because like I was mentioning earlier, is that a lot of these families, they have other kids. They have to work. They don't have the means to be with their baby 24 hours. So they can feel, because there's a sense of guilt. Like, where do you spend your time with which kid? And here it gives you the ability with the cameras to be able to be with them all the time. And if they're working, to be able to give them that opportunity to still be there. So we were able to help with that. We helped bring in half the cameras into the NICU. We've created an endowment now that will be given back to Rady Children's Hospital in perpetuity. So these things continue to help the families and kids that are babies that are impacted in the NICU. And our company, Foundation Escrow, we put on a casino night every year. I think you've been to all of them. And we put on a gala and do a casino night and give back to the NICU at Rady Children's Hospital. So different ways that we fundraise for the NICU, because that's obviously near and dear to my heart, my wife, and my family's heart, to continue to keep his legacy alive. Like you said, through suffering, we were able to do something to make a big impact. So I always say he was here for a moment, but left a lifetime of love, and he continues to do that. And he continues to help babies for perpetuity.
Yeah. I love that. He's a baby hero.
Don't cry, Maricruz. She's a totally
I'm a crybaby. I love that. I mean, obviously, you know, it's a tough situation, but what a beautiful thing. I mean, you think he was here 11 days?
11 days, exactly.
Yeah, but I mean, beautiful. Look at everything he's doing, you know?
100%.
So much love, so much joy. So, wow. I love that.
And we keep his spirit alive. My kids, every time they see the moon, we say he's in the moon. So they say, "Hi, Ollie. We love you, Ollie."
There you go.
Oh,
Keeping his memory alive is so important for us.
Yeah.
No, that's amazing.
That's good.
So kind of shifting on topics, if we can. Let's talk about hookah for a minute.
Okay.
Yeah, he's got a little party boy in him. I think all of this is just for him to throw parties and have a hookah lounge.
I mean, we said we were going to
all his giving, he just wants to throw parties.
I like to have a lot of fun.
You know, we talk about giving, and there's the emotional side of this podcast, but also we got to have fun too, and you know, current topics, and let's talk about some fun stuff you're involved in as well.
Sure.
We wanted to have a hookah. I texted both of these guys and I was like, hey, let's have a hookah. They dissed me. They didn't even text me back. So I was like, okay, was that a stupid idea? I don't know. But I really wanted to have a hookah here.
Oh, that would have been really
fun,
cool.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, we were going to try and mimic, you know, the Rogan podcast.
Oh, there you go.
Rather than smoking cloves, which is marijuana and tobacco, we were going to do a hookah.
Oh, that would have been awesome.
We screwed it up.
We'll do it part two.
There you go. Do you still have the hookah lounge?
No, I don't.
Okay.
So sad.
All right.
Did you ever go to it?
It was the one downtown, right?
It's the one in downtown, yeah.
That should be, I don't know if that's laughter, slapping, awkward.
Oh, no. This one. No hookah, now we boo. Boo. Reopen it up. Foundation Escrow Hookah Lounge.
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah, it was a good time. Yeah. It was a fun time. It was actually after the 2008 crisis, because I've been in the real estate mortgage business since 2001, and had a situation partnership. Kind of we broke up, and I said, well, what do I want to do? I still kept the escrow and mortgage thing going. I said, well, we're in 2008. Business is there, but what else can I do?
Time.
Yeah, you remember those days, but in 2010,
I met a buddy and he was saying he wants to open a hookah lounge, and I said, all right, cool, let's do it. I'm not doing a lot right now during the mortgage crisis that was happening at the time or after that. I said, well, let's do it. I have the time. I want to do it. And started it in downtown. It was something new, fun. I spent a lot of my time there. Kind of got away from real estate for a bit because I was there way too much, having a lot of fun. And the place was open till 4 a.m. So
Wow.
it was late nights at the hookah lounge. There was a lot of going out. That was part of the networking, right? Having to go out, meet people at the bars, at the clubs. And I was single at the time too. So I met a lot of people. And then I met my wife.
Met a lot of people.
Beep. I got connected with a lot of people, good people, and then that was a lot of fun. It was good. It was hanging out with people, and I keep saying,
Oh, geez.
This is good. This is where the podcast gets awesome.
yeah, this is getting awkward. But then I finally met my wife there, so met my wife, and then the hookah lounge
Nice
shut
pivot.
down.
Nice pivot.
And then I closed her up.
We closed her up. No, but we were having some issues with the landlord. Landlord didn't like the hookah lounge, and it was like my concentration was getting back to the escrow business and real estate. And I said, I did what it was supposed to do. Meet my wife. Now I'm done. I'll go ahead and get back to the real estate game.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
It's funny how times take you to different businesses, right? I mean, well, I was listening to what you've been, I think you, after high school, you started a mortgage company, then escrow, then a mailing delivery service or something, notary, hookah. In that order?
Yeah, pretty close.
She's a good stalker.
Yeah, very good stalker. But it was after after college. I did finish college. So after college, I got into the mortgage business. Worked for a management training company called Accredited Home Lenders. I was a management trainee in there. Just learned the wholesale business and found out really fast that working for a corporation is not what I want to do. The real money was with the brokers and the mortgage guys. So we opened up a mortgage brokerage in 2004 and just really rapidly grew that. It was a great time. We had 100 plus employees doing like close to 15 million in revenue relatively fast. And then from there, we were sending out so much direct mail. I said, well, why don't we go buy a direct mail company? So purchased a direct mail company in Idaho. That was good for a year or two, but then ended up buying a house over there, being there for a while.
We're in Idaho.
Boise.
Boise.
Yeah.
Okay, that's so funny. I know Boise pretty well. My dad, we built homes up there.
Did you?
Like kind of that was like a late 80s, early 90s, maybe mid 90s in Boise, and then you had Bogus Basin.
Yep.
Which is like a snow resort
Yeah.
outside. It's like they call it Idaho's best kept secret because it's like Mammoth. I mean, it's so nice, but nobody really knows about it, which is great. But it's a huge mountain. It's incredible. So the snow is amazing.
beautiful.
So
Yeah, it's a great town, and it was fun for a little bit, and then, as you guys know, just direct mail and printing got kind of outdated, so got rid of that business, or sold it off to my ex-business partner, and then opened up an escrow company.
so you're happy about that, right? Sold it to the ex-business partner, and it goes down. You're like, that's great.
Don't need to worry about
Right
it.
in time.
And then got into escrow because we were doing so much mortgage transactions. And I said, well, there's Foundation Escrow was the company that we purchased. So it's been in business since 2002. I took it over in 2007 and just really focused growing that. So I found out at first it was just servicing our mortgage business, but then found out relatively really soon that, hey, this can help a lot of other clients. So we pivoted, and now pretty much 100% of the business comes from outside and focused on agent relationships, helping them grow their business. And then, so continue this vertical integration. So mortgage, escrow, and then the next thing is a nationwide mobile notary service. So our escrow company can help give business to the notary service and make it a better process for our clients and customers. So purchase notary near you. It's been about 6 years now. So growing
I didn't
that
know
as
you
well
had that.
too. Yeah.
That's cool.
And then now it's just focusing a lot of time on continuing to become a better investor, real estate investor, multifamily, and continuing to focus that growth and spending a lot of time with my wife and kids.
Yeah. So if you could give 3 kind of tidbits as to what has helped you be successful in your life, what would they be?
I think success leaves clues. So I think number one, it's who you know, not what you know. I think that's really helped me in my life is just like finding shortcuts, is finding the people that know what they're doing and modeling them, connecting with them. And not you can learn a lot of things through textbook or online, but it's who you know that really has helped me continue to grow as.
So getting
as a
into the
leader.
right rooms with the right people.
100%. And for that, I'm in like so many different masterminds and continue to personal develop and continue to do that. Is just meeting people. I love people. I love connecting with people, and just I'm a people person, and relationships are huge. So
Now I see you going to all these masterminds, and I keep texting him like, "Oh my God!" Like the people you're surrounded with, right? These are the people that we all see on social media and TV, and like these are major hitters in the United States. And I'm like, oh, so how much does it cost to get into that mastermind? And then you text me back. I'm like, shit, like maybe next year. But I love the concept because you get to get around the people, right? It creates opportunity, meeting, helping, networking, giving back, helping them, right? It's giving back to them, which then in turn comes back to help
And
yourself.
it's just to you'll get to 2 and 3 in a second, but you've become that person because I saw your story yesterday, and it was somebody's birthday or anniversary at Foundation.
Oh,
What
yeah.
was it? Was it birthday or
It was
anniversary?
anniversary and also employee of the month.
Yeah, and your like the environment that I feel like is all you with your company and like all of your employees look so happy. I mean, I think this girl was crying. She was like, I've never been in a better business than Foundation, but she like really like felt it, and I felt it through the screen. I was like, man, this guy has like a really good community. You really set it up that way. So that's great. It's great that you went out to look for it and then now you're doing it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for noticing that. And I think leadership is so important, right? I don't know if that's two, but I think leadership is just so extraordinary to help you move forward and success in whatever you do. So if you're the right leader, leading by example, creating more leaders within your organization, setting that
Key.
culture, it's so important. So and you start attracting people that that fit your company culture, and then the people that don't, you detract them because even if they make it, they're not going to last because they're not part of that community, that culture that's so important and abundant. And I think it starts with leadership and creating more and more leaders. So I think I said one was who you know.
Yep. Choose leadership.
Choose leadership. And I think also 3 is just success without fulfillment is failure. And I think you just need to continue to move. At least this is what I do. I enjoy the process because once you have an outcome, that's it. You're not, what's next? But through the
Gary Vee talks about that a lot.
enjoying the process, right?
Yeah, he says you need to love the process, not the outcome.
Exactly.
Because the outcome will leave you feeling empty at the end. Whereas if you enjoy the process and you're constantly giving in that process too, then you feel fulfilled going through it. Right?
Exactly. And that's what NBA players, a lot of athletes, high performance people understand and appreciate that. But success without fulfillment is failure. So enjoying the process, being able to have and appreciate and gratitude for what you have, and then giving back it's a full circle, right? I think leadership, you grow, you have enjoying the process, you have fulfillment, and then giving back to your community. So I think all that combined brings fulfillment. So I think that's key part of success.
Those are good zingers. I like it.
Yeah, I know.
Masud's
a lot
3
of really
keys.
good ones. We got a good speaker on today. Yeah,
guys.
this is great. Anna's coming on for the next one, so I'm excited about that one too.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, she's going to be great.
Yeah, Anna's fantastic.
Yeah. All right.
Oh, there's a challenge.
So the way that we do this challenge, so I don't know if you've ever seen Mr. Beast. Are you familiar with him?
Yeah,
Okay.
my kid watches him nonstop.
So, and how this kind of came about is actually kind of how this whole Abundance to Give podcast came about. So my kids follow Mark Rober and Mr. Beast on YouTube. And, I don't know if you know Mr. Beast's story, but he started, maybe 5-6 years ago. He only had like 1,200 followers on YouTube, right? Which is still a decent amount, right? For any of us, right? And he was just doing videos where he's playing games and people watch him play video games. And that was his thing on YouTube. And a lot of people do that. What he did is he then started to trigger it. Said, screw this. We're going to start going into Best Buy and grabbing random human beings, pulling them over into our corner. We're going to have a tarp on the ground with a big square in it. We're going to pull the tarp off and we're going to tell them anything you can fit in this tarp in the next 5 minutes, we'll buy. Right? So then what it created, like these people are freaking out, right? They're running around the store. They're stacking 80-inch TVs on top of each other and computers and all this crazy stuff. And then they win and they're like crying and like he's giving them checks and it turned into this whole giving thing, right? And then he realized he has like 91 million followers right now, subscribers.
It's insane.
Because what he did is he created this abundance to give mindset of just give. People love it. They tag onto it. Creates more. Like giving more abundance, giving.
Mm-hmm.
And now you see what's happened. And then you're seeing other people follow suit and you're seeing the result. Hence the reason abundance to give, right? You go give and help others without the expectation of getting back and watch that abundance happen. So that's why we wanted to interview these people like yourself to not just give into the success stuff. That's why we waited towards the end to ask about like what made you successful. We really wanted to dive into like how has giving created abundance for you in your life, right? Fulfillment in your life, because that's really where it's at. Not so much. I mean, you can interview 10 different people. What were you successful today? Why were you successful? And they'll give you the tips and tricks, but they're not going to explain how like I really made it by helping others and getting a few layers deep, and then watch it come right back. 9 times out of 10.
It's so crazy and so true. Like, obviously, people that do that to receive, it's not going to work. It has to come naturally.
Authenticity.
Right?
People
it's
will
authentic.
Yeah.
People will see that. And I think it's just part of who you are as a person. And the more you give, the more it comes back to you. And I think it's just helping others, helping your teammates, helping your family, helping your community, whatever it is. The more people you're able to help and impact their lives, change their lives, so much comes back to you. Like my grandparents, they're in their 90s. I make it in a point to spend at least once a week with them, to go see them, stop by, spend my time, because I don't know how long they're going to be here. And they cherish that so much. And they say, if my other siblings or cousins are listening, I am their favorite grandchild because of this, because I'm always there seeing them, making sure that they're good. But it's just like, I do it for myself. It fulfills me. It helps my heart to be able to spend time with them and be with them. But then it just impacts them so much. And I think it's, if nothing else, it's just your time. If you take the time and spend with people and you're authentic and you're just the relationships and the things that you can do is just
especially as our parents get older, right? And people that have seen this, and you watch the roles reverse, where you were the kid, they were taking care of you. As you get older, they they get older, that role reverses. And I'm seeing that happen for myself and my family and parents, and how critical it is that you take the moments to make the phone call. You take the moments when you can't. You got to go drive and you got to be around them, because you're right. Blink of an eye, we all see it. Then you wish.
Yeah.
I wish I shoulda, coulda, woulda.
Yep.
Right, and so I'm being really cognizant of that right now at my age, right in my 40s, and watching my parents in their 70s as they're getting older, trying to make sure that I am spending those moments.
It's so
because we don't know.
You don't know. And I learned it at a young age when my father, I was 18 when my father passed away. So I had to grow up real fast, become a leader. And that's why I talk about leadership, is because I had to become a leader.
Man of the house pretty
quick. And I think that's really changed. Losing people, you understand and appreciate life and understand and appreciate relationships. And I learned that at a young age, and then for losing our child too, it changes who you are.
Big time.
Yeah. Wow.
Well, this has been amazing. So now we're going to go on to the challenge. And the challenge is, we're going to do this. I don't even know what it is yet. Do we know what it is yet? But whoever wins, we give money to a charity of your cause. Today, it's going to be $500.
Wow.
So the winner gets $500 towards a charity. So we do, ours is Tunnels to Towers. I don't know if you're familiar with that one. It's Tunnels to Towers. That's a foundation, a national one here in the United States that they give money, they basically pay off mortgages of any hero, i.e. firefighter, policeman, veteran, current military, whatever it is, Tunnels to Towers. It was started because of 9/11 in New York and the firefighters there, and then it went to policemen and now obviously military, where they give them mortgage-free homes. And
Wow.
they pay it off because if what ends up happening, a lot of service members, lost in battle, lost in the line of work, and then they have a spouse left at home, could be, wife, could be husband, who knows, and now they need to, what do they do? And these people come in, they pay off their mortgage, they give them financial kind of assistance for a while to get them on their feet, since they just went through this crazy situation. So
That is
yeah,
incredible.
it's a pretty amazing one. Tunnels to Towers, it's a big national one. So, in yours, which one do you want it to be?
Rady Children's Hospital.
Brady Children's Hospital. Okay, so it's going to go to your endowment.
Go to the
All right.
Ollie's Foundation.
All right. So, what is the challenge today? How are we finishing this up?
So you guys are going to play a game that I used to play when I was a little girl, and it's a patty cake with a twist.
Patty cake with a twist. I just played patty cake with my daughters, so watch out,
okay.
Justin.
Yeah.
And then I
I love it.
and I also there's a change to that as well. That I don't know, and I think you've probably played this where you put your head into the little gap thingy and you click the thingies and then whipped cream hits your forehead.
Oh, the face thing.
The face plant thingy.
Yeah.
So the loser of the patty cake has to get that.
Oh, that's awesome.
And that's how we're going to do the challenge today.
I love it.
Sold.
All right. This was great, you guys. I loved having you on. I knew you were going to be so fun to interview. So thank you so much for coming. And Justin, any last words? Any last words for both of you?
No, this was incredible, man. So I hope I win the challenge so that way I don't have to have whipped cream on my forehead.
Yeah, for me, thank you for having me. It's such a joy. I think to leave you guys with, life is all about growing and giving. And thank you for giving me an opportunity to do that today with you guys.
Thanks for coming.
Said.
You
Thank
bet.
you.
Awesome.
Thank you.